Now, before beginning this video, I have to warn you that this video talks about a rather touchy situation and might not be good for people with weak hearts to view. But that's all for the disclaimer. Yeah, BNK here, and if you are new to this channel, you would know that the last video I made that was on the Windows 11 leak. But if you are a stalker who creepily follows me around my school, जिसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है मेरे पीछे पहले से ही 10 लोग पड़े हुए हैं, you would know that I would like to cover topics that are barely covered as well as the topics which are very popular and are covered everywhere. Now today I want to spread awareness about the Rohingya people. And after watching this video, I urge you to do the same. The UN itself has said the Rohingya people are one of the, not if the most discriminated people on the face of this planet. Now let me give you some quick context. Rohingya are the descendants of Arab traders that settled into the area over Myanmar over a period of 1,000 years. The state of Iraq was conquered by the Burmese king in the 1800s, so it became Burma, and then it was conquered by the British, so it became Myanmar. Rakhine people are the people who the country Myanmar, formerly known as Burma, belongs to. In the eyes of the Rakhine, the Rohingya are uninvited workers, which are still a remnant of the British colonial rule in Southeast Asia. They say the Rohingya are non-citizens and thus they don't have basic human rights, and they have been excluded from the constitution. Rohingya are predominantly Muslims. Myanmar sees them as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh. Since the 1970s, Rohingya have migrated across the region in significant numbers. Estimates of their numbers are often much higher than official figures. In the last few years, before the latest crisis, thousands of Rohingya made perilous journeys out of Myanmar to escape communal and persecution and alleged abuses by the security forces. The Rakhine are basically performing an ethnic cleansing on the Rohingya by killing them, doing rapes, raping their women and killing their children, and they have the restriction of marriage on the Rohingya people as well. The Rohingya people don't read or write the Burmese language. The Rohingya villages have a hard time thriving because of the gang wars and the security forces doing raids on them. They also have a food shortage because they don't have enough food for everyone. The Rakhine are predominantly Theravada Buddhists and are one of the four main Buddhist ethnic groups of Burma, the others being Bamar, Shan and Mon people. They claim to be one of the first groups to become followers of the Gautama Buddha in the Southeast Asia. The Rohingya people are a stateless Indo-Aryan ethnic group who predominantly follow Islam and reside in the everyone. Now onto some of the biggest recent events in history. The 2017 Rohingya crisis was one of the biggest refugee and ethnic cleansing events known to this planet after the Holocaust, because in August 2017, a deadly crackdown by Myanmar's army on Rohingya Muslims sent hundreds of thousands of Rohingyas fleeing into the border of Bangladesh. Now, if Bangladesh is currently housing the largest refugee camp in this world, which we will get on to later. They set up a military offensive which the United Nations later described as a textbook example of an ethnic cleansing. And their leader still denies allegations of genocide. Not a good look on you, Burma. United Nations later, in January 2020, the UN Stop Court ordered the Buddhist majority country to take measures to protect the members of the Rohingya community from genocide, but the army in Myanmar, formerly Burma, has said that it was fighting Rohingya militants and denies targeting civilians. The country's leader Aung San Suu Kyi, I definitely butchered that name, once a human rights icon, has repeatedly denied allegations of genocide. Now, why did they flee their homes? The exodus began on August 25, 2017, after the Rohingya ARSA militants launched a deadly assault. Rohingyas arriving in Bangladesh said they fled after troops, backed by local Buddhist mobs, responded by burning their villages and attacking and killing civilians. At least 6,700 Rohingya, including at least 730 children under the age of 5, were killed this month. The violence broke out, according to the medical charities Médecins Sans Frontières. Definitely butchered the name as well. Amnesty International says that the Myanmar military also raped and abused Rohingya women and girls. Now you can see why they have so much allegations on genocide and international war crimes. Now the BBC has said that when they were on a strictly government-controlled trip on Myanmar to cover this matter, the government said that the number of dead was only 400 people, and the clearance operations that they used their term to cover up the fact that it's basically an ethnic cleansing, they said that it stopped on September 5, but the BBC correspondents had evidence which the BBC said themselves that their correspondents had some evidence that suggested that the ethnic cleanses did not stop there, and the number of dead was definitely way lower than they told us. What now? On to the third part. What has the international response been? Aside from the fact that nobody even knows what the difference between Myanmar and Burma is, which I will get on to later as well, a report published by UN investigators in August 2018 accused Myanmar's military of carrying out mass killings and rapes of genocidal intent. The ICJ case lodged by the small Muslim majority nation of the Gambia in West Africa on behalf of 12 of other Muslim countries called for an emergency measures to be taken against the military of Myanmar, known as Tamada, until a fuller investigation could be launched. Aung San Suu Kyi. I'm just gonna call her ASSK. ASSK rejected allegations of genocide when she appeared at the court in December 2019. But remember, this is one of those cases where it is really important that everyone keeps talking and no one stops, because the word didn't even reach the most of the world. The Rohingya people have labeled the Rohingya as Bengali terrorists because of two reasons. One being the Rohingya, the persecuted minority, was fleeing to Bangladesh. And two, that in 2017, Rohingya militants tried to fight for their freedom and rights, which I just talked about before. So the Rohingya response is to kill and rape them. No, that's their response. If they try to fight for their rights, they burnt out 237 villages. And no one in the world currently knows about this situation in detail. No, maybe there are some people, like some smart-ass people that know about this. But most of the people doesn't even know what is the difference between Rohingya and Rohingya, which I will get to. No, I think I've already said about that. Forget about that. I think you can see how big of a problem this is. And still most people don't even know the difference between Burma and Myanmar. Again, the Rohingya refugees which escaped to Bangladesh are being held in the largest refugee camp in the world, which is Kutupalong. Definitely butchered that name as well. Camp, the largest refugee settlement in the world according to the UNHCR, which is home to more than 600,000 refugees alone. The UN said to Bangladesh that the world would not forget its help and its generosity. But sadly, no one even knows about this situation to begin with. Yeah, maybe it was covered in 2017, but the thing is, it didn't stop there. The Rohingya people are currently still being persecuted as we are talking right now. This is a situation very similar to the Israel-Palestine one, where the Israel is doing an ethnic cleansing on the Palestinians and says that Palestinians are Muslim terrorists. So Bangladesh consulted 225 families to ask them if they want to go back to Myanmar, because Myanmar wanting them back, and all the families Bangladesh consulted refused, even though Bangladesh had arranged for them trucks to go across the border. A UN independent international fact-finding mission on Myanmar said in a report that the country's soldiers routinely and systematically employed rape, gang rape, and other violent and forced sexual acts against women, girls, boys, and men and transgender people. Very long, and I can't cover this in one video, and I will make a 3-parter or a 4-parter. I don't know as of the moment, because there are various aspects to this story. The only solution to this problem is to dismantle the systematic discrimination against the Rohingya in Myanmar and make sure that the rights and opportunities of all communities are equally respected. There are people in support of the Rohingya, in support of the Rohingya people, and there are people who hate them both equally because they love equality and don't discriminate between man and man. There's also the very hidden situation of India turning its back on the Rohingya people as well, but that's all I have. Please share this video or do some of your own research on this matter, as this is a matter that needs to be reignited, and we aren't living in the 1900s anymore. We have social media and a platform to speak out against the violence committed by the Rohingya to the Rohingya. Spread the word about this situation, and that's all I can offer on the matter. Till our next encounter.